If you're thinking about moving abroad, there's a really good chance you're considering this country for your future home.
Nearly 60,000 Americans have already chosen to live here, and a lot of them tell us how much they love it. But is it still a good place to live as an expat?
In this video, we're going to put it to the test and see how it ranks on the 10 factors that matter most when you're choosing a place to live abroad.
And stick around until the end because we're going to do a cost of living roll-up and a residency visa overview.
If you haven't figured it out yet, we're talking about Spain.
Since Spain is a big country, at least by European standards, we're going to review the region called Andalucia in southern Spain that stretches from Portugal over to the Mediterranean Sea.
The first factor we're going to look at is safety and stability. We're from the Americas, so safety is something we think about.
Every time we post a video and talk about safety, we get comments from our European viewers how they think it's so funny that when Americans do videos on YouTube, we always talk about safety when they just take it for granted. It's not something that they really spend a lot of time worrying about, but we do. Coming from the United States and Latin America, it's just not as safe as Europe.
Spain is known for its safety. We walked all over the place day and night and we never felt nervous. We saw kids out playing by themselves. We took public transportation and we never felt like we were being targeted as tourists.
In terms of stability, Spain had snap elections in 2023. There have been protests about the Catalan independence. There was even a political assassination attempt in Madrid during our visit. So bottom line is Spain is experiencing some turmoil like every other country right now.
We're going to give Spain a thumbs up for this factor, despite some of the political issues that they're having right now. Our next factor is weather and natural disasters. And when you think of southern Spain, you think about warm or even hot temperatures all year round.
If you have a fistful of dollars, that's enough to see the good, the bad, and the ugly in southern Spain. And for a few dollars more, you can just skip the bad and the ugly.
Although, thanks for the flashbacks. That just reminded me of watching those old Clint Eastwood movies with my dad back in the day.
I remember watching those spaghetti westerns as a kid with my dad too. It was our Saturday afternoon ritual to sit down and watch Clint Eastwood sweat on television. Most of those movies were filmed in this region of Andalusia and the deserts that are there. They get their name spaghetti from the Italian directors who made the films.
If you want to sweat like Clint Eastwood, then you're going to want to be there in the summer because it gets really hot here. Too hot for a lot of people like me. It actually hit 111 degrees Fahrenheit or 44 degrees Celsius last July in Malaga. And they hit a record 102 degrees Fahrenheit or 39 degrees Celsius in Cordoba last April.
We didn't need a coat in Seville or in Malaga when we were there in November and December. It's a great area to visit or spend the entire winter, and we were actually chilly in Granada. Amelia had to buy a winter coat.
Yes, I did. Let's talk about natural disasters. They've been experiencing a years-long drought, and some of those rivers are dry.
And there's also a chance of earthquake in this region. In fact, they had 3 earthquakes in Granada in 2021 that did cause minor damage. So we're going to give this factor a thumbs down for Spain if you want to live there year-round, because it just gets so hot in the summer.
It is a great place to live during October to April, so you can just avoid the summer months. You can go to northern Spain. Our next factor is quality of life, and you can have a high quality of life in this region.
Yeah, the Spaniards actually live quite a bit longer than us Americans, and that could be because they really value their personal time. They have an emphasis on family and friends and having a social life.
People seem really happy for the most part. We observed and heard multiple people singing while they worked.
Spain also has a lot of history and culture, lots of museums, cultural activities, and you can take some flamenco classes if you want to.
If you're an outdoors person, you're going to be happy because you've got the hiking, you've got beaches, and you've got outdoor shopping.
There are a lot of people living in this area from other countries, so you'll have the opportunity to interact with locals and foreign residents from all over the world.
Locals were mostly friendly, especially in Granada. We found them very welcoming, and most people were overall, although we did experience some tourist fatigue, especially in Seville, which is not surprising because we were there during the lower season and there were still a lot of tourists.
Yeah, in fact, 2023 set a record for tourists in Spain. They had 85 million tourists in 2023. And to put that in perspective, the country only has a population of 47 million people, almost double the number of tourists last year.
We're going to give Andalusia a big old thumbs up for quality of life.
Yeah, despite the tourists, because you might even live longer. Healthcare and health insurance is the next factor we're going to look at. Spain ranks high for public and private healthcare. It's ranked number 26 by CEO World.
As a new resident, you're going to have to get private health insurance, but it is much more affordable compared to the US. Prices are going to range anywhere from $60 to $200, maybe even a little bit more per person per month. It depends on so many factors like your age.
Yeah, and also your smoking habits. If you just want to pay cash and go see a doctor, it's only like $50 to $60 for an office visit without insurance. So it's so affordable compared to what we're used to in the US.
And after you've been living there for a year, you can apply for the public health insurance.
Yeah, so we're going to give Spain a big thumbs up for healthcare. Language barrier is the next factor we're going to discuss, and Spain's Spanish is hard. They drop letters, they don't pronounce everything the same way that we're used to. Like the S sounds like a TH, so instead of gracias, it's gracias. And instead of saying de nada for you're welcome, they just say nada. So it took a little bit of getting used to. Actually, we never really got used to it.
And they speak so much faster than what we're used to in Latin America. However, the locals really did warm up to us once we started speaking Spanish. So it makes a big difference. You've got to put yourself out there and speak some Spanish.
Yeah, but we're going to give Spain a thumbs down for the language barrier factor just because it was so hard for us and it's so much easier for us to speak Spanish in Latin America.
If you're learning Spanish, or if you haven't started learning yet, but you are planning a trip to Spain, then you really should get studying. And a great way to do that is with LingoPie, today's sponsor. We're huge fans of LingoPie because they have a variety of entertaining shows like Beta, which has love and intrigue, and you can even learn how to argue in Spanish.
Not only will you learn vocabulary by watching these types of shows, you're also going to learn about the local culture and how to communicate confidently with native speakers.
There are a lot of learning tools built into the LingoPie interface. You can read along as the transcript scrolls by on the right side of the video.
I really like the new grammar coach feature. It takes the current sentence and explains the grammar to you.
You can speak a sentence to hear it again and practice saying it to yourself and get feedback on your pronunciation.
You can also loop a sentence to help with comprehension and adjust the speed to go at your own pace. I really appreciate this feature. LingoPie has a Netflix extension now, which is super cool, and they're always adding new features and shows to help you learn faster and stay motivated.
And that is why it is one of our favorite ways to learn and practice Spanish. We love LingoPie. Click the link below to get 70% off the lifetime plan.
Walkability and public transportation is the next factor, and you won't need a car in Spain, which means you'll save hundreds of dollars per month and reduce that stress from driving. It's so easy to walk around there.
We logged hundreds of miles and I had to buy new shoes. If you don't want to walk though, you've got the metro, trams, buses, taxis, and Uber.
The train system is awesome. We loved it. You can take the train throughout Spain, and we took it from Seville to Granada. It was only $50 per ticket, and then we took it from Granada to Malaga for $25 a ticket.
We're giving this factor a big thumbs up for walkability and transportation.
Housing is the next factor, and according to Idealista, the average rental in the region is 10.8 euros per square meter or 1 euro per square foot. So 100 square meters or 1,000 square foot condo will run you around $1,100 per month, and that's on average.
The average place by the beach in Malaga, however, is going to be more expensive. There are some very high-end condos there, so we saw a place for rent that was $10,000 for a massive penthouse, to give you an idea.
In general, though, you can find furnished rentals for $500 for a studio or up to $1,700 or more, depending on the location and the size.
Thumbs up for housing here, especially compared to prices in the United States.
Food and restaurants is the next factor. The main grocery stores in Spain are Carrefour, which is actually a French chain. There's Aldi, which is German, and then there's Mercadona. They also have lots of small stores and big mercados.
You can find a variety of fresh fruits and vegetables and specialty foods such as vegan, gluten-free, and Asian, and lots of olives.
Way too many olives. I think we're still carrying a few of those olives with us. The dining out is wonderful there. There's lots of variety, casual, fine dining, international cuisine. It's a coffee, wine, and beer culture, and we were surprised to see so many people drinking at lunch in their business attire.
Restaurants close at 4 or 4:30, and they close for 3 to 4 hours, and it was pretty hard for us to get used to this since we are used to eating on an earlier time frame. Dinner starts at 8 or 8:30, and places don't start to fill up until 9 o'clock or even later, which was also pretty hard for us to get used to.
Yeah, I'm not sure we'll ever get used to eating dinner at 9 or 10 o'clock at night.
The average price for lunch was $15 to $30 and dinner was around $50 to $70, and that was for 2 people. Unless you're in some of the popular tourist areas where the prices were double or even triple, that was kind of shocking actually.
Yeah, so as long as you eat outside of the main tourist areas, it's very, very affordable. We were kind of surprised. So we're going to give Spain a big thumbs up for food and restaurants.
Taxes is the next factor, and we're going to start by talking about sales tax. The VAT there is 21%, but that is not across the board. There's a big range and it goes all the way down to 4%.
Yeah, and the VAT is actually included in the price of the item. So if you see a sticker that says €1, that's all you're going to pay. It's not like the US where they tack on the 21% on top of that, but it is still in the price. It's just factored into the sticker.
Let's talk about income tax. If you live in Spain for 183 days a year, you're going to become a tax resident, and they tax everything, including your Social Security and your pension income.
Yeah, and also earned income. They do have a tax treaty with the United States to avoid double taxation, and they have special breaks for digital nomads and other tax incentives. However, the tax rate in Spain is very high, so that needs to be factored into your decision to live there.
So we are giving this a thumbs down for taxes.
Cost of living is the last factor that we're going to talk about before we cover the visas. And you can have a really nice quality of life for a relatively low cost of living in Spain. The housing costs are about $1,000 a month. I think that would be a good budget. Maybe $25 per month for your cell phone, another $35 for your internet, $50 for the other utilities. So maybe about $1,100 total for housing.
We're budgeting $600 per month per person for food and $100 per month per person for health insurance.
Yeah, and yours may be higher depending on what you eat and how much your health insurance costs.
And you want to budget in some miscellaneous items such as entertainment, haircut, and transportation. So we put in $100 for that as well.
Yeah, so a total for a single would be around $1,900 per month, and for a couple, maybe $2,700 a month might be a good average budget.
If you take medications or you want to travel back home a lot, you will need to budget for that.
Yeah, that could cost quite a bit more. This is just a general guideline for you. It's obviously going to vary by person, but it's certainly a lot cheaper than the United States to live in Spain. So we're going to give this factor a big thumbs up.
Before we reveal the tally, let's talk about residency visa options, starting with the non-lucrative visa. This is a passive income visa, meaning you cannot work. It's often considered Spain's retirement visa. And for this one, you're going to need approximately 28,800 euros per year or 2,400 euros per month. You have to apply for the visa outside of Spain, and you have to get private health insurance, and it cannot be travel insurance. It has to work inside of Spain.
That means Medicare, Medicaid will not qualify. They have an investor visa. You have to invest 500,000 euros. It's what the current number is. There have been talks about either increasing this amount or just eliminating the golden visa entirely.
Spain has a digital nomad visa, and for this one, the income requirement is at least 200 times the minimum wage, which is approximately 2,500 euros per month. It's valid for 12 months, and you can renew it up to 5 times, and you can apply for this one within the country, and they do have special income tax rates for this particular visa. I think a score of 7 out of 10 is pretty darn good. A lot of people have moved to Spain and they really like it.
Yeah, if you're thinking about moving to Southern Europe, then check out these videos next.
And make sure to check out LingoPie if you want to learn a new language fast. Look for their link in the pinned comment.
That's all we have for this video. Before you go, please leave us a thumbs up and we will see you all next time.
Adios.
Adios.